Hello ladies and gents, on Cannon Street. Where we're going to is Martin Lane. So called because a lost church of St Martin Orgar, which we'll have a look at its little blue plaque and garden because there's a memorial in there and it is open today. There's its clock tower. It's converted into housing or apartments now. Our main port of call for today though is this building just here, but before we go in we'll have a look here. St Martin Orgar Church, and it has a garden with a memorial in it, which is just over here. We shall go and see. It's just here. I can't see what the memorial says. I'll try and get close enough to see. Break the wall of distrust. Absolutely, if it is. By Zurad, 1990. Trashing people's plants, and that is the old St Martin Orgar Church. It's an old memorial up there, but it's a long worn away. We shall leave its churchyard. There are people who are still buried here, by the way. At the end of the video you will see an image of what St Martin Orgar Church looked like in its day. We're off down here, this way, to our building, which is built in 1663, so just 2 years before the Great Fire of London. One of the few buildings to actually survive the Great Fire. It started its life as a merchant's house, and in its cellar there's a tunnel was a tunnel that ran all the way from this house down to the river, which is just over there. But in 1830 it was converted to a pub called the Olde Wine Shades. You can see, look, built in 1663. The Olde Wine Shades. Still got a lot of original features and been beautifully restored inside, so you will join me inside for a tour of this one in a minute when it opens.
So video goes right? Yeah.
This is the Dickens room. Permission visit as well, because I've been kindly allowed to film downstairs, which isn't open at the moment. So once you've filmed upstairs, let me know what we can do downstairs. This place, the age of it. I love places like this.
Which one? One that wanted to bring you the seating outside. The lady? No. Oh, probably just me. Looks like you. So, yeah. Okay, you look fair. It's just the acting British on sugar. Yes. What should we sit inside? So you got a TV in here?
Yeah. Getting ready. I'm just missing the remote.
Are you fully booked up for next Thursday?
I don't know.
For the England game?
I can have a look. Because anyway, here I'm not taking any reservation. You just want to just, yeah. I have a private room downstairs, so if you are like more than 10 people, you can reserve that room. They're gonna have a own space for you. Otherwise, here I'm gonna be just for walk-ins.
Walk-ins, that's watching.
Next Wednesday, you said.
Next Thursday.
Thursday.
England the pen.
Yeah.
They were giving it.
Yeah, okay, we'll speak to him afterwards.
Yeah, no worries.
We knew that one day. I think it doesn't get enough. Mattia functioned with first time, so we haven't got time to do it. And do a warning.
Yeah? Yeah, well, these are, yeah, these are the movies, yeah.
The two drinks. Yeah. We can. I can tell if we just want to go without the other. If he starts then
And on top of that, if you're not correct on the signal,
there's a walk around, there is a walk.
then I probably won't get this.
Back into the hearing. And then you decide what to do. This is not the first time. Yeah. Okay. I start the process of everything. Yeah. And then we see.
My
You're taller than me, careful here.
I shall, yeah. Thank you.
So here is the most historic part of the building.
Right.
Here we just refurbish all the bar. So this is what we call, I mean, we still have to tidy up a little bit, but this is what we call the Smugglers Tunnel. Because if you break this brick wall,
Yeah.
there is a tunnel that goes directly to the Thames, and was used to by French pirate for not paying taxes, was just coming with the boat and rolling the barrel from the Thames to here.
It's fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's super cool.
That's brilliant.
And it was keep going on until the 80-81.
Right. What a
And
piece of history.
For seeing that room, this picture basically, this is the dad of the owner of the company.
Oh, right.
Bottling wine in that room before we refurbished it.
Oh, brilliant. I'll photograph
And
it.
here all the walls are from 60-63.
Thank you. I
It's a
appreciate that.
pleasure.
Thank you. An amazing place.
No, I fell in love as well when I did my job interview here.
Yeah.
It's like working in a museum.
Well, it's just full of history. You can feel the history in a place like this,
Oh,
can't
yeah.
you? You can.
Oh, definitely.
That's
It
brilliant.
allowed me to tell story because we actually have a Dickens room upstairs because if you check the area and the timings,
Yeah.
it was possible that Charles Dickens was coming here.
Oh, right.
To drink, yeah.
That's very interesting.
And here, if you want to do like a board meeting or whatever, it's perfect. I can extend the table. You have a television that you can connect your laptop.
That's very good.
Yeah, I love this place.
Yeah, it's just full of history.
Yeah, the only bad thing is working here. I cannot come here for a drink.
No, no, it's like a busman's holiday, as they say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Because for me, it's gonna be a dream. I order a couple of bottles of champagne, play Monopoly here all night long.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Anyway, feel free to roam around.
Oh, thank you.
Say sharp.
Thanks very much. Is there an upstairs at all?
No, it's
No, I'll
these
just.
two
Oh,
floors.
thanks very much. Thank you.
There's some flats upstairs.
Oh, right, I see. All right, thanks very much. Thank you. Have you the northern approach to London Bridge when it's being built?
Tomorrow evening, yes. What time you finish?
brilliant. Love places like this. The old cellar. As he said, what they call the deacon's room. Sorry. London, no, this is brilliant. As we were saying, the place is literally just oozing history. That, the Smugglers Tunnel, is just fantastic, isn't it? I shall put the right glass of sweet white wine down. There are really, really nice people in here, so I can only recommend this place enough. They will speak, if you don't understand a lot about wines, they will speak you through it. I had a port in the, God, I can't remember the name of it now. Gordon's. You know, the cellar underneath Samuel Pepys' home. I had a port there, which is a fortified wine. So it's wine with alcohol added to make it stronger. What I've got here is a natural French wine, which Noble Rot, I think he said it was called, which is like the noble rot. They let the grapes rot a little bit, which adds to the sugar content and still gives you an alcoholic content, but slightly less. And I should like to end off with the owner's dad, earlier days, 1965, Victor Little, boiling port, before the cellars were converted into a restaurant. And take us back upstairs. Those beams, look. Take a talk. State of alchemists. A lot of these sketches and punch type things would have come from not too far down the road in Fleet Street.
But what I'm saying, what I was thinking.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed the Olde Wine Shades. Amazing little place that is, eh? And then just over there is an old blocked up stone doorway. And right below that is where that tunnel leads, right over to the Thames. I would have once done the Smugglers Tunnel. And if we go this way, you can see the spire of Southwark Cathedral. And you saw the picture of the old London Bridge and the old London Bridge approach in some of the images inside the wine bar. Well, this is the modern jobby. And I've now walked us from Martin Lane and the Wine Shades just there, all the way down here to bring to you delightful creatures this view. Southwark Cathedral, London Bridge, the Shard. That's one I'll be covering soon when I do Shakespeare's London, because it wasn't always a cathedral, it was once the Church of St Mary Overy where Shakespeare worshipped. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed Martin Lane, the Wine Shades, and now for some historical images. And for our historical segment in this tour, I thought I'd start us off with the most interesting location that we visited in this tour on our main port of call, the Olde Wine Shades. The two oldest images I can find of it date from, this one is believed to date from the 1980s, and that's when the father of the current owner was there. And this one definitely dates from the 1980s. The Olde Wine Shades is one of London's oldest public houses, the building itself having been built in 1663 in Martin Lane. There is an oft-quoted claim that it somehow survived the Great Fire of London of 1666. Its origins were as a merchant's house, which had a tunnel river entrance like many large riverside properties in London at the time. The tunnel was sealed after bomb damage during the Blitz in 1940, but its entrance is still visible today. The architectural and historic significance of the Olde Wine Shades is recognised in its status as a Grade 2 listed building. And I'm sorry I couldn't point you up too much in the main bar. I know I did point down at the floor a bit, so please don't complain, because I hate pointing the phone in people's faces, particularly when they're relaxing and having a drink. But here are a couple of photos when it's emptier, showing the upper bar in its main entirety. And that fascinating Smugglers Tunnel, which once ran down to the river, is believed to have been used by French smugglers bringing in brandy and contraband when it was a merchant's house, and also when it was a pub. Then and now, tax avoidance is always much upon the human mind. And the reason it has a Dickens room is because it is believed that Charles Dickens himself drank in this old wine bar or pub. And when we left and I pointed you over towards the bricked up doorway, this is an image I took myself in 2024, a little bit of research, and you can't see the doorway that well in this image because of the bins and stuff, but here's a closer image showing it in its full entirety, and some research on this one because it intrigued me. Shows up a smidge of interesting history for this. According to the 1841 street directory, number 7 Martin Lane, which was the neighbour of the Olde Wine Shades, it was a building that was damaged and taken out by the Second World War, was the premises of solicitor Walter Powell. This, coupled with the fact that there's evidence of outer doors covering a smaller safe, seems to suggest that it may have been a document and valuables safe. You could store deeds and documents in the pigeonholes above, and high-ticket valuables in the internal safe below. So that's just a little bit of history on it. Other suggestions online suggest that it was once an oven. That was pretty much poo-pooed, because if you zoom in on this image, or if you visit the place yourself, the two holes in the right door show some pretty complex locks. So a safe it once was. And St Martin Orgar Church, as I promised you, you'd see some images of it in the past, and I'll give you a brief history because it's quite interesting. It's a lost church, of course, and I like to cover them when I can. And here you see the church in 1543 marked in red. Bear this image in mind because you'll see it again in a minute. The church was originally known as St Martin Candlewick Street, the latter being the medieval name for Cannon Street. No one is quite sure to the exact date that the church was founded, but excavations in 1987 showed that the church had late Saxon foundations. In the 12th century, it was given to St Paul's by Olgar the deacon, and so it assumed his name. We know what the church looked like from the Wingard panorama of 1543 shown here. And here is St Martin Orgar Church. I told you you'd see this image again, marked in red. We see our church, and pre-Great Fire of London. And here you see the Tudor London of King Henry VIII. And here's those archaeological excavations which took place through 1986 to 7. And looking west, this shows A, the chalk foundations of the first Saxon church, B, the arched foundations of the late medieval East End, C, a stone burial vault within the pre-fire church, and D, a post-fire brick burial vault with entrance and stair to the north. And that's very interesting, because this has all, of course, been covered back up, but will still be underground. Very, very interesting. I wonder if it'll ever be uncovered and exposed again. If it ever is in my lifetime, I shall certainly try and go along and see it. And of course, as I said, with the burial ground, all the old parishioners of St Martin Orgar still lie buried there, or many of them do anyway. The building was almost completely destroyed in the Great Fire, with only the tower left standing. It was then restored and used by French Protestants, who we know as Huguenots, who fled France, fleeing religious persecution, until 1820. That building is shown in the illustration by Shepherd just before its demolition, which we're going to see in a minute. That building was then demolished and the tower was rebuilt in 1850 by John Davies and used as the bell tower for the nearby St Clement Eastcheap Church. The brick top that you see there today was previously an elegant cupola which disappeared sometime before 1935. And here is St Martin Orgar Church, and that depiction by Thomas H. Shepherd, showing it in 1831. And here we see St Martin Orgar Church Tower today. It's apartments and flats now, but as said just now, the brick part at the top once housed a beautiful cupola which disappeared, unfortunately. And I filmed the Olde Wine Shades and St Martin Orgar Church and Martin Lane in 2024. You'll see in this video, of course, in 2025. But we're going to see the London of 2024 versus the London of 1600. Here's the photo I took in 2024 of London Bridge, the Shard, and over to the right, Southwark Cathedral, which was once the Church of St Mary Overy, which none other than William Shakespeare worshipped in. And now I'm going to take you back 425 years in the past to the year 1600. And in this image, we're on the opposite side of the river to my 2024 image. And an arrow is going to point now where we were standing in 2024. And on the side of the river where the arrow is going to point now, you see Southwark Cathedral, or the Church of St Mary Overy as it was then. And to our extreme right, you see the old London Bridge with its houses and buildings and its little trunnions below, which caused the river to slow and created London's ice fairs and frost fairs on the Thames. When the old bridge was taken down and the spans below widened, you got no more frost fairs.